Have you ever felt exhausted? Not in your body, but deep in your soul? You smile, you show up, you carry everyone else's weight, and yet, no one seems to notice how tired you are. Because you're the strong one, right? You're the one who holds it together when everything's falling apart. But what happens when the strong one is quietly breaking inside? Maybe you're there now. Maybe you've been there for far too long. And I want to tell you something you may have never heard before. You don't always have to be strong. Not with God. He's not asking you to carry it all. He's inviting you to rest. Chapter 1. The Silent Weight. We carry. Strength can be a beautiful thing, but it can also become a heavy mask. Over time, we learn to hide our pain, to laugh when we want to cry, to say I'm fine when our hearts are screaming for help. We become the ones people rely on, the steady voice, the calm presence. And slowly, without realizing it, we start to believe that our worth comes from our ability to endure. So we push through the stress, the pressure, the emotional storms. We bottle up the sadness because we don't want to burden others. But the truth is, this silent strength can become a prison, a place where we feel unseen, unheard, and secretly overwhelmed. If that's where you are right now, carrying silent battles, pretending to be okay, then hear this. God sees what no one else sees. He knows the weight you're carrying, and He never meant for you to carry it alone. Chapter 2. God never meant for you to carry it alone. You were never meant to be everyone's hero. You were never created to be the solution to everyone's problems. Yet somehow, the world has convinced you that being strong means being silent, carrying it all, never showing weakness. But God's definition of strength is radically different. In His kingdom, the strongest are not those who never fall. They are the ones who fall on their knees. The ones who say, God, I can't do this anymore, and mean it. When Jesus said, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest," He wasn't offering a motivational quote. He was offering Himself. He knew there would be seasons when life would crush us, times when we'd feel like we're drowning beneath expectations, grief, fear, and hidden pain. But He never asked us to hide it. He asked us to hand it over. That moment, when you finally say, Lord, I don't want to carry this anymore. That's not weakness. That's worship. That's surrender. And in surrender, God begins to lift the burden off your shoulders, piece by piece. No, the storm may not stop immediately, but you'll no longer be standing in it alone. He will be your shelter, your strength, your peace. You don't have to prove anything to Him. You just have to come. Chapter 3. You don't have to hold it together. Maybe you've been holding your world together with trembling hands, smiling when your heart is breaking, showing up when your soul is exhausted, saying I'm fine when you're anything but fine. But here's the truth. God never asked you to hold it all together. He never expected perfection. He simply asked for your heart, especially when it's broken. Sometimes we think that to be close to God, we have to be put together. That if we cry too much, question too much, or feel too deeply, we're somehow less faithful. But the Psalms tell a different story. David poured out his fear, anger, and despair. He cried, "How long, Lord?" and "My tears have been my food day and night." And yet, David was called a man after God's own heart. Why? Because God isn't drawn to performance. He's drawn to honesty. He meets us not in our masks, but in our mess. You don't need to fix yourself before coming to Him. You just need to come. When life is falling apart and you feel like you're barely holding on, let go. Let go of the pressure. Let go of the fear. Let go of the image of being the strong one. God is not asking you to hold it all together. He's asking you to hand it over and let Him hold you instead. Chapter 4. Rest is not a weakness. In a world that praises hustle, rewards exhaustion, and glorifies the phrase, keep going, rest can feel like failure. You hear voices, both inside and outside, whispering, if you stop now, you'll fall behind. So you push through the tiredness. You show up with a smile, carry the burden with grace, and quietly break inside. But here's the truth you've forgotten. Rest was God's idea. On the seventh day of creation, God rested, not because He was tired, but because rest is holy. It's not a reward for finishing everything. It's a command to trust that He is the one who holds everything. Jesus didn't say, "Come to me, all who are perfect, and I will use you." He said, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Rest is not a sign of weakness. It is a sacred surrender. It's how you say, "God, I don't have to do this alone. I trust you to carry me." Even Jesus in His humanity withdrew to quiet places. He paused. He prayed. He cried. If the Son of God could rest, why do you think you must always keep going? Your worth is not in how much you can carry. It's not in how long you can stay strong. Your worth is in who holds you when you're weak. So take the nap. Say no. Step back. Cry. Breathe. Let yourself rest. Not because you're giving up, but because you finally trust that God never sleeps and He is still in control. Chapter 5. You are allowed to break down. There's a lie that many strong people believe, that to be faithful means to be unshakable, to always smile through the pain, to never cry too long or feel too deeply. But the truth is, God never asked you to be made of stone. He created your heart to feel, your body to weep, and your spirit to break, because it's in the breaking that He enters in. In the Bible, David was a man after God's own heart, yet he cried out, "My tears have been my food day and night." Elijah, the prophet who called down fire from heaven, once laid under a tree and begged God to let him die. Jesus Himself, facing the cross, fell to the ground in anguish and sweat blood. Faith does not make you immune to breaking down. It gives you someone to break down to. You are allowed to feel weak. You are allowed to say, "This is too much for me." You are allowed to sit on the bathroom floor, holding your chest, whispering prayers with no words left. That is not the end of your story. That is the place where healing begins. God doesn't love the perfect version of you. He loves the version that's on your knees, the one that doubts, the one that's scared, the one that's just holding on. You don't need to be the strong one all the time. You just need to be real, because God meets you where you're honest, not where you're pretending. So yes, cry, collapse, be tired, but know that in your breaking down, God is still building you up, not in your strength, but in His. Chapter 6. Surrender is where strength begins. You've been taught to fight, to never let go, to keep your head up, keep your shoulders straight, keep it all together. But there is a strength that doesn't come from holding on. It comes from letting go. It's the strength of surrender. When you release your grip, when you open your hands, when you say, "God, I can't carry this anymore," that's not the end of your fight. That's the beginning of His fight for you. The moment you surrender, you make room for God to step in. You stop striving and start trusting. Surrender is not giving up, it's giving over. It's handing the battle to the one who already knows the outcome. It's trusting that even though you don't understand the Waymaker walks beside you. In surrender, you find peace that surpasses understanding. In surrender, your hands are free, not to carry burdens, but to receive grace. You are no longer trapped in the cycle of proving yourself. You can finally rest in the truth that you are already loved, already seen, already held. The world may not understand this kind of strength, but heaven does. Heaven sees your surrender and calls it holy. God sees your empty hands and fills them with purpose. He sees your tired heart and breathes life back into it. So if you're at the end of yourself, good. That's where God begins. You're tired of being strong. Not because you're weak, but because you were never meant to carry this alone. God never asked you to be perfect, unshaken, or invincible. He asked you to be close, to come to Him, to bring your burdens, your tears, your exhaustion, and place them at His feet. He's not disappointed in you for needing rest. He's not mad at you for feeling broken. He's not asking you to get it together. He's inviting you to lean on Him, the everlasting arms that never grow weary. Today, choose rest. Choose surrender. Choose healing. Let go of the weight that's crushing you. Give your burden to God. You were never meant to carry it all. You are not a failure for feeling tired. You are not weak for needing help. You are human. And more importantly, you are His. And that's more than enough.